S.A.L.T production from the car again. I was here just a few weeks ago, before Super Bowl 50, and I made a video called Cam, I Apologize. You are now a top 10 quarterback in the league. And that was after he had beaten Seattle and after he had beaten Arizona. I said, yep, he's now a top 10. I didn't say that the whole year. He was 15-1 and was having an MVP type season, in which he was voted the MVP. But after those games, I said he's a top 10. Well, now the Super Bowl was played. And what do I say now? I say, Cam, you're still a top 10 quarterback. And if you remember during that video, I mentioned that. I said, even if he has a bad Super Bowl, that doesn't take him out of the top 10. What he did during those 2 playoff games, that itself moves you up in the rankings every time you have an excellent playoff game. And he was fantastic there against very good defensive teams. And it also shows that what you did during the regular season wasn't just, he's on a run. I said, I've been saying, let's see what he does playoff time. Well, he had 2 very good playoff games. Now he had a bad Super Bowl performance. Okay, still top 10. But now I want to I apologize to Cam. Can I have those that may have done a few things apologize to me? What things would I want you to apologize to me for? Well, I had said, there may have been people that watched the video a few weeks ago and reacted and go, what do you mean top 10? All of a sudden, he's been a top 10 for a long time. He's been a top 10 for a couple of years now. And I say no. If you watch that Super Bowl, what you saw during that Super Bowl is the way Cam Newton played. It reminded me of the Cam Newton his first few years. He didn't have the accuracy, and under pressure, through the first few years of his career, he didn't have accuracy or consistent accuracy to make him a top 10 quarterback. That's even with the advantage he uses his legs. Fine. One of the great dual threat quarterbacks who could throw and run, but his throwing was not accurate through his career. Again, that game should have reminded you what he did through his career. And by the way, there are those that should apologize and say, I said the Seattle game, he's not going to play well. What did I expect him to play during the Seattle? How did I expect him to play during the Seattle game? Exactly the way he played in the Super Bowl. As a matter of fact, I don't understand how in the world he was able to beat Seattle and then in the Super Bowl all of a sudden revert back to the way he played a few years ago. And don't give me this Denver is an unbelievably much better defense. Come on, Seattle is not that far behind from Denver. Denver is a bit overrated. That's S.A.L.T production when we cover the Super Bowl, which I haven't done yet, but it's already Tuesday, and I haven't covered the Super Bowl. Don't worry, we're going to have a massive production on Super Bowl 50. But now you see why I didn't think he was going to beat Seattle. Now you see why I didn't think he was going to beat Arizona. I thought he would play the way he played in Super Bowl 50. And there's every reason to believe he would do that. His career, that's what he did during his few years in his career. Not that accurate. Again, he wasn't that bad. But against good defensive teams, he was not accurate through his first few years in his career, especially during strong defensive teams. And therefore, come playoff time, when you're going to face a strong defensive team, and the pressure's on, it's going to really show who he is. And I thought he would falter, but he did not. He strong run against Seattle, and don't tell me it was just the Panther defense that won that game. Cam Newton was very good in that game. Cam Newton was very good against Arizona. I know Carson Palmer was horrendous. And you say the Panther defense won that game, yeah, fine. They would have won that game anyway, possibly. But Cam Newton was excellent in both of those games, and that put him into the top 10. I got to pull out the pizza box. So let's go through it. Again, this is not so important to actually see the top 10. And again, this is the type of thing that changes from week to week, year to year. So it's going to be outdated soon. And by the way, I wasn't sure when I remember I kept showing the pizza box on different spots to see, because I couldn't. Oh, wait a second. I flipped it over as if that's going to. Yeah, that's what you got to do. I got to flip it over. So I wasn't sure if it was being seen. I wasn't exactly sure if you could see the pizza box. But after I looked in the video and I saw no matter what spot I showed it, you could see, so I don't have to go running around finding a spot to show the pizza box. But I did notice that you could not see all 10 names at all times. At certain points I point, you could see all 10 names. And I realized I didn't know from tech, of course, that it comes out of here. The lens is on the top of the phone, not in the middle, not the actual, oh my gosh, I didn't know. I mean, I knew that, but I didn't grasp that. So let me go a little lower here. See, I think you could see now all 10, right? I think you should be able to see all 10 names. Top 10, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Brees, Andrew Luck, Tony Romo, Matt Ryan, Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers in red. Those two are debatable. I think Matt Ryan's a little bit above. That's debatable. Those three are kind of in one grouping. Russell Wilson's in green because he's a running quarterback. And only when he uses his legs. Cam Newton right there. Only when he uses his legs is he a top 10 quarterback. And if you disagree with me on that, that's another S.A.L.T production where I cover how Darrell Bevel, I called him Bevin. Darrell Bevel makes good use out of Wilson. And by the way, Shula makes great use out of Cam Newton's legs, using him left, right, or even middle, because he's 255 pounds. He can go up the middle. I don't think they used his legs enough in the Super Bowl. They did not use his legs enough. That running game was not going with Stewart. I would have used Newton 5 to 10 more times on the outside. All right, that's another, don't worry, that's going to be a S.A.L.T production. Notice I have Peyton Manning not in the top 10. He's about, I had said he played like a little bit above Ryan Tannehill in the Pittsburgh playoff game. He was horrendous, terrible in the New England championship game when once Belichick decided to press, which was from the second drive on, and he was horrendous again in the Super Bowl. They won despite Peyton Manning. There was not much he could do. And what that's going to be, don't worry, we're going to talk about that in the S.A.L.T. But when we cover the, don't worry, we're going to cover that. Carson Palmer, of course, very overrated. It's a lot of it is the system. It's his system that allows him to flourish in Arizona. Give a lot of the credit to Arians. But where was Cam Newton before he won those 2 playoff games? And I don't care how well he played during the regular season until he won this. I had him as about 13th, 14th. I am behind Joe Flacco. You better not put him ahead of Joe Flacco until what we saw from him in the 2 playoff games. Don't put him ahead of Alex Pitt. I'm not sure about Alex Pitt, but I had him about, again, 12th, 13th, 14th. Cam Newton. And now that now you'll ask me, why don't I put Cam Newton top 3? Just because he lost the Super Bowl? Let me go back. Just because he lost the Super Bowl, didn't play well, I don't put him top 3. Remember I said if next year he will play as well as he played during the regular season, he will be a top 3 quarterback. I mean, accuracy, ability to run, left, right, or middle. I mean, if he can do the accuracy that he showed this year, then he's a top 3 quarterback. No, I'm sorry. I did not want to put him top 3. And again, the Super Bowl reflects that. Why? Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Brees, Andrew Luck, Tony Romo, they are all definitely better than Cam Newton right now. If you want to take a quarterback for next year, who would you take? Don't take Cam Newton over those, what did I say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, over those 6. Because how do I know how accurate he's going to be next year? What do you mean he did it for 50? He did it during the regular season? Yeah, he did it during the regular season. That doesn't show anything. When he did it during the 2 playoff games, that gives me more of an indication that he will be able to do it next year. But then the Super Bowl shows me, I don't know. Again, from 1 game, I don't know if he's going to keep up that consistency. Now, I would have said it even before the Super Bowl. But the Super Bowl for sure now makes me more confident to say, don't you dare yet put Cam Newton in the top 3, top 6 don't put him ahead of Tony Romo. Tony Romo for many years has been a consistently accurate quarterback. You say, well, he's had bad playoff games too. Yeah, but he's had good playoff games. And again, that's big. There's always this big debate. You go online, it's one of the biggest debates online, NFL.com. Where to rate Tony Romo. Because he has some clunkers in the playoff games. He's had 3 times where he lost that last game of the year to his division foes. 1 to Philadelphia, 1 to the Giants, and 1 to the Redskins. on that last game of the year to lose a division, a game that would have put a win it, you're in it type game. But again, okay, so you can debate me. You want to debate me on Tony Romo. But my point is, Cam Newton hasn't arrived yet. Let's see how he plays next year. He is top 10. Don't take him out of the top 10. But don't put him in the top 6 yet. So I finish off by saying again, I apologize, Cam Newton. The whole year I didn't have you in the top 10 and I was wrong. But I want some people to apologize who either would have said, why didn't you have him in the top 10 till now? Apologize to me. Or those that say, oh, what are you putting only top 10? Like he's not top 3? Well, the Super Bowl should have showed you not top 3 yet. Then you got to apologize to me if you were putting him as the top quarterback in the league after what he did in the Seattle and Arizona game. Okay, that is a SALT production follow-up of a previous Cam. I apologize. And I continue to apologize for not having put you top 10 there. But now I gotta have a few people apologize to me. And apologize if you see, why did I predict that he was going to lose the Seattle game? I think you know why. Why did I think he was going to lose Arizona? I think you know why now. SALT production. Now look at that one. Only 11 minutes on that one. The pizza box made its arrival. Low tech as always. And that is another SALT production. I'm trying to think how else to end it on a dramatic note here. I can't think of anything. All right, we'll just end it. Bye-bye.